It's amazing to see so many new names, but
Yeah, this is like the Dutch community. So we have some people from the Netherlands, we have some people from the Belgium team, we have some people from Germany. Yes, Marcus, I know that Germany is here. Marcus is one of the first movers in the German market, and we
wow.
Michelle, we just spoke about the fitness industry, where a lot of people are hurt by what's going on in the economy now. But Marcus is like a celebrity in the German fitness industry. He's like a master trainer of the master trainers. So his network, I know that the lockdown is now also happening in Germany. He's gonna bring in a lot of his friends. Yes, we are, Marcus. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get started because we have a certain number of minutes available. And tonight we have in our weekly team training as a special guest, again, coming back by request, Miss Michelle Stevens. So Michelle, before I hand over to you, because you were here already a couple of times, I really enjoyed your training. So we talked about using the system, and we're going to talk about templates or scripts or whatever. There's a way of building this business and why you are successful. It's not a secret. You're going to share all the details. But we talked about you're focusing on a niche. This was another training. We put the recording in the group, so everybody that didn't see that training, go back to the group, check out the videos. So this is where Michelle talked about, she's going to focus on a niche. She's using social media marketing to attract people, to interact with them, and then to hook them up into a call, because you work 100% online. So a lot of people are asking questions. What is she saying to those people once you're starting that conversation? What are you saying? What are you asking? How are you handling objections? Or how do you go towards the close to sell the package? So, and that's the theme for tonight. So Michelle, so first of all, we are really excited to have you back on the show, and we really would love to learn the aspect on prospecting calls, making the one-to-ones, and learning how you use the templates. So Michelle, I hand over to you.
All right, thank you, and thank you for having me back. I hope that I can add some value and that you guys can go away and be able to do something with what I'm doing. In all honesty, it's going to be quite boring in the fact that I said this to Sandra earlier. I actually just follow the system. I follow the training site. I'm a geek, and if someone says to me, this is what you do to get success, then I do that. Because Dak and Eden, when I started in this business nearly 4 years ago next month, would you believe, they had what I didn't have. They had success. They had a pathway. I was in network marketing before for 3 years with no system, no structure. It was find your way, and it was hard. I created my own systems. So I know the amount of effort and time that goes into those systems that they've created. And so what I did was I looked at the systems, I looked at the training templates and thought, these are just gold. But what I then do is I add my own Michelleism to it, because it's got to sound like it's coming from you. So if we've got time, I'll go through both of the different templates for the call. So, but the key is, I said this to Sandra earlier, if you don't think people will get on a call, they won't get on a call. If you don't think that someone will get started when you do a call with them, if you do a call, then they won't get started. And if you think that the templates don't work, they won't work. So it's being really open, if you're willing, to follow in the pathways. If you ask Emma, if you ask Michael, if you ask any of the people, leaders that have built huge businesses, they all follow the system with their own adaptation to it. So it's about using a framework, using a template, and making it your own. Does that make sense? So I do that. And I just wanted to kind of go back to the last time when we talked about that niche. I lead at the moment with the product. I don't do that all the time. So I look at what fits for me. So at the moment I'm leading with the product, and I'm attracting women. But would you believe that since I've been doing that, I've attracted more men to get started with me. And I've also attracted business partners that are interested in the business. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, because it's really only the last couple of months that I've really homed in on that. And just this week, I've enrolled 2 men. I don't talk about men at all. I don't on social media. I very rarely talk about the business, but yet people are interested in the business because they see how I build the business, rather than me directly saying who wants to join my team or talking about current affairs. And the only reason I don't is because that's not my strength. Now, that might be Sandra's strength. So we've all got to work to our own strengths. So if someone gets on a call with the product, would it be okay if I go through how I do a call for that? And it might be useful if you are able to maybe bring up the training site and you can follow along what I do under the discovery process. So I'll do the health transformation because I've shared my conversation of how I get them on that. And if we have time, then I'm happy to go through how I take a business lead through a process as well, if we have time. If not, maybe we can schedule something else further for that, so that it's built, sort of see how it goes. So if someone gets on a call with me, before they get on a call, I confirm the appointment and I ask them to watch the oureasysystem.com video link before we chat. On the day of the call, about an hour before the call, or if you're busy like working and you can't do that, do it on the morning, or do it like when you get home from work, if they're an evening call. I would say, Sigrid, hey Sigrid, I hope you're well. I'm looking forward to speaking to you at 7 p.m. tonight. Did you get a chance to look at that video link? Because I want to remind her that she needs to have done that, because that ensures that she will do that. And it's very rare that people don't look at that video link. If they haven't, they're almost a bit uncomfortable about it. But because I've got that, I'm not saying, are you still free? I'm looking forward to speaking to you. So I'm assuming that I'm going to speak to them. So when I get on the call, if you have the training set up, you can see, I basically just say, hey, I'm going to use Sigrid. Hey, Sigrid, how's your day been? How's work? How are you doing? I talk, if I don't know her, I say, what do you do for work? Where do you live? But literally it's 30 to 60 seconds just to kind of build that rapport. And then I say, before I go into it, I know you mentioned you'd watched the video. Did you have any questions that I can answer for you before I go through things further? So I want to see what questions she's got first of all. And these are for the health calls, yeah, for the health goals. People wanting to lose weight, get energy, get better results in the gym, whatever it might be. I'll answer whatever question she's got. Then I'll say, what stands us apart from other products and companies? Now, this is the only bit that has nothing to do with the system, but this is what I feel works. And I've added this to it. It's my own little bit. So what stands us apart from other products and companies is that we are a complete system. So what I mean by that is we look to address the root cause of why people are struggling with their weight, struggling with their energy, or struggling achieving their health goals. Now, we know that in some cases that's our lifestyle choices, and we maybe will always own up to the fact that we don't always make the right choices. But there are other factors involved, including metabolism, stress, digestive system. So what we do is we combine products that work together in synergy to get the body working efficiently, regulating those systems of the body, and combine that with simple, convenient nutrition. And that is why we're seeing such phenomenal results. And I say that, it's not written down, I say it every time, exactly the same. And then I go now straight into the training site. So you mentioned, Jessica, that you wanted to lose weight. If you had a magic wand, how much weight would you like to lose? So now I'm into, I think it's step 3 on the training site, because I'm a geek and I know that. But I have it up every time. I just do that little bit of blurb at the beginning, because for me, people need to see why they want to do this rather than a slim fast. Do you have slim fast? Have I made that up? Yeah. Why do they want to do this than a 20-pound coffee? So what is it that makes us stand out and be superior? And I want to tell people that. And I then say, and that's why we see such phenomenal results, because I'm just assuming they've seen loads of results. So if you had a magic wand, how much weight would you like to lose? Then I'll say, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're not interested at all, 10 you're 100% committed, not committed. Where are you in terms of working towards your goals? If they score any less than a 10, then I ask them what it would take to get them to a 10. What would it take you to be at a 10? If they say 10, I say fantastic. The reason I ask is I'm looking to work with people who are committed to their goals, because I don't want to waste your time and I want you to get the best results. So you need to have, your mindset needs to be there as well. And then generally what they say is, things have not worked in the past, or I'm worried about wasting the money. So I just answer that, well, we offer a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you could get results or your money back, would that take you to a 10? Or they might say, I'd be worried that I won't see results. If I can show you a way that you can see results within 3 to 5 days, where you've already got more energy, you might be dropping a few pounds, do you think that would take you to a 10? And the third similar one that they say is, I'm not sure I've got time. I find it difficult to do plans because I lead a really busy life. So if I could show you a way that you can have a simple, convenient nutrition that's easy to follow, and you only need to think about one meal, would that take you to a 10? 900% say yes. If they don't, and if they say to you, I'm a 4, and they're not willing to move up the needle, don't be afraid to say, and it's really hard to do this, at the moment, I'd be wasting your time if I got you started on this, because we want to work with people who are committed to achieving their goals. Because what you don't want is somebody that gets started, doesn't stick to it, then gets a return, because you've wasted all that time and now they've returned their products, and sometimes that might affect your own. Did I do something wrong? So it's much better to feel open and sometimes taking it away. So if I said to Adele, look, Adele, I'd love to support you, but at the moment, hi Adele, at the moment, you've mentioned you're only a 4 out of 10 in commitment, and that means that I really would be setting you up for failure if I got you started on this. Maybe now's not the right time. Why don't I circle back with you in a few months? You'd be amazed how many go, well, I want to do it. Can you help me get to a 10? So it's just having that posture and that confidence in yourself, that you don't want flaky people. You want people like Adele that are committed to the products and use them month on month on month and love them. You want people like Sigrid who get phenomenal results and then tell their friends about it and start to build a business. You don't want someone that isn't committed, isn't going to follow the plan, doesn't think it's going to work anyway, because all they're going to do is give you a headache, and they might give you a short return in income, but long term, they're not going to give you anything. Does that make sense? Okay. So after the commitment, then I say exactly again, this next step on the template, how will you feel when you achieve your goals? What are some things that you will do differently when you lose 3 stone, when you get more energy? Again, slight tweaks to the language, but it's the same process. I'm trying to find out what their goals are, how committed they are, why it's important, what it means to them. Because the more we can find out how important this is to someone, the more we can help support them when offering a solution. So there's a reason behind the template. It's not just a template, there's a language. The way you take them through it is a process to help the customer see how this could be the answer that they're looking for. I had a lady last week that said to me, I feel like you're giving me a lifeline. And I'm not giving her a lifeline at all. But because we went through this process, she was like, and we had a lot of similarities. I had no idea you'd gone through this, you'd gone through that. I had another lady who I asked why it's important to her. She burst into tears because unfortunately she had a stroke and wants to go out dating again, but feels so uncomfortable in herself and has had a stroke. And so it's much bigger than a few pounds or lacking a bit of energy. It's affecting people in so many different ways. So after I ask what you would do differently, I then say, why is it important to you? Why is it important to you, Sigrid, to lose 2 stone? And I shut up and let Sigrid tell me. And then depending on what Sigrid tells me, or whoever I'm talking to tells me, will depend how deeper I go. So in the system, it talks about the 7 deep process. I gauge that according to my person, because if my person is really closed, very private, I'm not going to push. But if they're telling me a lot, then I might say, and why is it important for you to be healthy for your children? And why is it important for you to be able to play at the park with them? But I use my own intuition as to when to stop with that. So I might just say to Adele, why is it important for you to do X, Y, Z? She might tell me, and I may not go any deeper with that. And that's really about, I suppose in that, it's about what feels good for you. So you might find to start with, you only ask a couple of things. Why is it important? Why is it important? The 7-step process is about uncovering layers, like the layers of an onion, and getting to the real core of what someone's challenge is. So for me, when I started on Isagenics, I wanted to lose 7 pounds to 10 pounds. I wasn't miserable with the way I looked, but there was a lot more to that. I'd lost my confidence. I had anxiety. And so that I would never have spent 300, 400, it was 500 pounds on losing half a stone, but it was much more than that. So if you can dig a little bit deeper, you will really find what it is that they're wanting. Does that make sense? And are you all following me? I'm not talking too fast. Cool. So then I do that with the 7 deep process. It's very rare that I go deep 7 times, and I hold my hand up to that. But I don't feel I need to, because I feel enough of what I've gone around that has built that in. So at the beginning of my call, I've told them why this is great. Then I focus it all on them. Then I say, Adele, have you got any questions I can answer for you? She'll tell me. Quite often they say, no, just how much? Now, if you've looked at my templates before, I share that the basic package is our Simply Shakes. I think I sent those wording that I use to Sander. So I would say there's a number of different options. It's custom tailored to your own goal. Packages start, I'll have to go in pounds, sorry, £127.27 for a 28-day shred. That includes 2 shakes a day, breaks down to £4.50 a day. Why don't we have a chat? When are you free? So on my call, when you say you want a recommendation, I say, and I always do this, and I'll give you some statistics in a minute. So I say there are a number of different options, as I mentioned to you, and our basic package is the 28-day shred, which is 2 shakes a day, phenomenal package. You'd have 2 shakes a day, do 2 snacks and a healthy evening meal. You're looking to have 1,1600 calories a day. That works out at £127.27. But based on what you've shared with me and your goals, I would recommend that you went, if it makes sense in your budget, with one of our 30-day resets. The first one is our 30-day reset. It's 6 core products that really get that body working efficiently. They regulate the metabolism, stress, digestive system. It includes the Simply Shakes, and it also includes our cleanse days. You're going to get far superior results and feel much better. That works out at 236. If your budget allows, I would recommend you go for our premium pack. It's everything in the 30-day reset, but you also get some chocolates and crisps, which can support you if you want to have something sweet or savory and still stay on plan. It's also something you can have on our cleanse days, which will really support you. And it comes with our greens. Our greens is a phenomenal product that contains the nutrients from 33 varieties of vegetables, and it will really accelerate how quickly your body responds, because your body's getting flooded with so much nutrition. That package works out at 305. I can get you results with all of the packages to suit you, which one feels best for you. And I don't recommend, you may or may not have noticed, for a customer, the ultimate pack, unless the conversation leads me to. So if they've told me their diet is shocking, they live on chocolate crisp, takeaway, fizzy pop, then I will lead with the ultimate. So I adapt that recommendation, and that comes with practice, but 90% of the time it's the 30-day or the premium that I offer. And then I say, which one's best for you? You'll then tell me. I'll say, great, it's a phenomenal package. You're going to love it. Curiously, who are 2 people that you know for sure would want to do this with you? And I always ask that question. I said it to Zach earlier. Probably 2 out of 50 calls, I maybe don't, but I always ask that question. And I say the reason I ask is Isagenics don't spend any money on advertising, but they reward their customers for their referrals. So when you recommend 2 people to get started on the same package that you're looking at, which is whatever they've told me, you will earn X amount. So if they said the 30-day, I'll say 100 up to £134. If they say the premium, I say up to £194. How amazing is that? This is where someone will say to you, I know no one. Even if they know no one, I say, don't worry, no worries. The reason I ask is Isagenics spend money. And you may find that as you get results, people want to know. All you would do is pass them my way. If they get started, you'll get paid. And for 2 people starting on the same package that you're looking, this is what you could get back. Or they may give you 2 names. If they give you 2 names, jot them down, so that once they're getting results, you can go back to them and say, hey, Adele, you're getting great results. I'm loving, it's so exciting what you're doing. Do you think that Priscilla and Hugo would like to get those results in the first 5 days too? Exactly what Zach talks about. There's a 5-day text template. I'm jumping ahead, but that's the reason I do that, because that makes it so easy to bring the business in, especially if you're leading with the product. Because if you're leading with the product, people aren't necessarily looking for a business, but what they will do is become your biggest fans. And they may, like many of us, find themselves earning an income and then becoming a business partner because it piques their interest. So then after that, I say, do you have any other questions, or have you got enough information to get started? And that is probably the one that most people don't do, because they don't want to ask for the business. I'm very comfortable asking for the business, and I never don't do that. So I would say, Carla, do you have any other questions, or are you ready to get started? Because I've already asked you which package. You've already told me which is the best one for you. And this is where they'll say, they never say no, ever. They either say, I need to have a think about it, or I need to work my money out, and decide which I want to go for it. And then they'll do what they do. Or 70 or 80% of mine start on the call. If they're going to start, they start on the call. And 90% of my calls do enroll. But I probably lose people along the way. So I lose people in the process, so that the people I speak to are only the people that are serious about working towards their goals. And that's, so it's that key thing, and it's not hard. It's, do you have any questions, or are you ready to get started? And we so don't know how to do that quite often, because we feel a bit pushy. But does that sound pushy? I don't think it does. And ultimately, they're on the call to see if this is for them. So it's okay for you to ask the business for business. And if they say, and you give them, you're not saying, do you want to start now? Some people say, do you want to have a think about it? You start putting words into their thoughts, into their mind, that they're not ready to get started. I assume they're going to get started. And then it's for them to say to me, and I'm saying it in a nice way, for them to say to me, actually, can I have a think about it? Oh, yes, I'd love to get started, but I don't get paid until 2 weeks' time. The ones that say they don't get paid till 2 weeks' time quite often are just fobbing you off, I've learned. But that's okay, because again, they may come back to you. Recently I've had people, I got a guy started today called Jack, who told me he was starting 6 weeks ago. And today he started. And I've got a lady that was supposed to get started and her bank declined it. So I've had people do all sorts, where we do the process and it declines it because she hasn't got the money. But she does want to get started. Then if they don't get started, I add them to EYB. I do a post in the Experience Your Breakthrough post, and I would say, hey, Sandra, it was great to chat to you. I'm really excited for you to learn more about how our products and our nutrition systems, or our 30-day reset, can help you to achieve your goals. You post an article from the Isagenetics Health site that's relevant to the conversation, and I tag relevant stories. So what I see some people do with EYB is they post in there, and then they got a lady that wants to lose half a stone and they tag someone that's lost 4 stone. It needs to be relevant to that person so that you've tailored it. So, Adele's story isn't really about weight loss. So I would share Adele's story if Adele was looking at sort of being more vibrant, more energized, just feeling younger, but also because she's got that nutritional background. So if I've had someone that's asked me a lot of questions about the nutrition and they really want to know, that gives that, without them realizing it, that would give them a little bit more confidence, because I've asked a nutritionist to share, or a dietitian to share their experience with the product. So that gives them, so it's about tailoring it. And if you don't know stories, you post in the team group and say, who could I tag that needs to lose 2 stone or wants to get some muscle mass in the gym? We've got so many different stories. And you don't have to just share your guys, you can share anybody within that organization as you learn them, as it comes along. Then I follow them up 2 days later. And I would just say, hey, Sander, hope you're well. Just wanted to check back with you and see if you had any further questions or you're ready to get started. And again, I'm assuming he's going to get started. Those are the tweaks I've made this year. I always enrolled quite a lot of people, but not the number that I've enrolled this year. And I genuinely think last month, I was in my head last month. I hold my hand up. It was my birthday. It was my old wedding anniversary. October's not a good month for me because I start reflecting on the fact that I didn't expect to be 44 single. You know, I'm all good, but in October, I'm not good. And I was in my head for half of the month. And as a result, no one got started. I enrolled 26 people in September. Not one of them shared. In May, I enrolled 24 people. 7 of them became consultants. So you can see the difference in my energy, my posture, because my language was different. I would say, how do you feel about doing the business? Not, oh my God, do you think that Adele and Sigrid would like to get those great results? I changed it because I was going through the motions. And if any of you don't know me, I'm very open and I own my own shit. So I own when I'm not doing the things I should be doing, and I really analyze so that I can make it better. But as a result, in October, I enrolled 10 people. Still not bad, but not 26. And since I sorted my head out, I've enrolled 7 people on the November dash already, and we're only 7 days in. So I'm going for that money. I said to Kevin, I've got the bag, I'm going for the cash. And so, but what I'm getting at is not to sort of be like, oh, look at me. It's more showing you how the language, you know, I'm following the same process, but because my language changed slightly, my energy changed, what I thought would happen changed, the outcome changed. And that's my call. Is that helpful? Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask about that?
Michelle, I have one question.
Yeah.
So you are one of the global top enrollers worldwide. And although you're not a nutrition expert, although you're not a personal trainer, although you don't own a gym and you're working out of the home, you're still the #1 enroller. So you're signing up a lot of people. And you're doing that by using the templates, the scripts, and the system, right? How come? What is the #1 reason that most people are not using the system? Why is that?
Mainly because, especially in the European, it's too American. Doesn't sound like me. Mm-hmm. Oh, I couldn't say that. Or they believe that people don't want to speak on the phone. And that is the case in some networks. I love speaking on the phone, and no one, and the odd person doesn't get on the phone with me, but I don't carry the objection that they won't. So the reason people don't follow the templates, I don't think it works. Mm-hmm. That's my belief, because they look at it and they don't look at it and go, how can I make that my own? They look at that and go, that's not me. And it's not me. It's not me either. You can see how I've followed the process, because the process, Zach is a copyright editor. Mm-hmm. Zach has expertise around how to persuade people in sales to say yes. That's the process. So he's got that process. I've just made it my own. But the stepping stones are the same. It's the same as the process that I followed to get someone on a call. I've used Zach and Eden's process of what's your problem, what are your challenges, and then I get them on a call. But I've done my own version of that because I get their funnel. I get that's a sales funnel, and I just needed that to feel authentically me. And that's the key. I've just seen a question come up.
Yeah, well, one of the partners is Alec. He's from the Portugal team. He's mentioning the IsaJenks website is complicated and messy. So maybe you can add a little bit on the template website, because we're actually not using our IsaJenks referral link towards prospects, right? We are using a different kind of website, which the team Zach and Eden made with the scripts and the templates. Michelle.
Okay, yeah, I don't use IsaJenks training. I use Zach and Eden's. So that's on the Hour Easy training. It's in English, Dutch, I believe. It is in Dutch because Lisanna's actually what's translated it, hasn't she?
Yeah, oureasytraining.com. This is the English version. And we have a Dutch version also, which is Onze Easy Training. I will put it in the chat now, .com. This is where the templates are all in Dutch. So for the Dutch and the Belgian viewers, you can go to onzeeasytraining.com. And everybody in English-speaking countries, you go to oureasytraining.com. And of course, Alec, and for all the guys in different countries, Spain, Portugal, Germany, you need to translate from English to your preferred language, of course. But now you have something tangible, which you can, personalize a little bit. So it offers you the tools, the equipment to do whatever Michelle is doing. And we were happy to get Michelle back on the call because she's enrolling more people than all of us together today, in not only today, but also in previous months. So if we start doing more of the things that Michelle is already doing, we will attract the success that she already has. So for all the people that are listening to this call, and also the people that are listening to the recording, if you're not happy about your results, if you want to improve your results, you need to copy and duplicate what the people are doing that are having a better personal performance. People like Michelle. And she's using the system, right? And how many days a week, how many days a month, Michelle, are you using the system?
Every day.
You use it every day. Why do you use it every day?
Because it's easy and I haven't got to think about it. So it makes it simple. It's easy. I can get other people to follow it. Like I say, in my last network marketing company, I created everything. It was hard work. It was exhausting. And then people came in. I had to send them all the stuff. I had to train them, everything. I don't have to do that. So Zach and Eden have made it so simple. And like I say, so if you're in the German market, you're going to translate it into German anyway. So you then make the German language. So I would not use the word awesome. I would never say awesome. It's just not me. Now, some UK people do, but not many. So I would change that. So, but in Germany, you might say awesome. So we all have different nuances. Does that make sense if I say the word nuances that we would use? And we have, even though we all speak the same, there's different, even English speaking there's some slight tweaks that people need to make. A lot of English people call people babe. If I messaged Adele and said, hey babe, she'd think I'd lost the plot. But if someone else said it to her that she knows calls them babe, it would be perfectly fine. Yeah. And I'm more of a hun person than a babe person. Babe just doesn't come out of my mouth. Like, it just sounds weird. So in answer to your question, Sigrid, how do you get I don't do that many calls. I do less calls than I've ever done, but 95% start. So, and the way I do that, I've shared with Sander my process for leads, of what I do with the leads to then almost whittle them out. And some people may or may not agree, but I give you a basic price before I jump on a call with you. And that tells me that you're willing to spend £127. And if you're not, that doesn't mean I don't want to help you, but I'm not going to waste their time and I'm not going to waste my time.
No,
one of the things I used to do is I didn't used to give a price. It was advised not to by Zach and Eden. And what I know as a potential customer, all I want to know is the price. Because at the end of the day, if it's not even feasible, then I'm not going to do it. But if the price is feasible, then I'll look at, well, what do I get? What's in it for me? And so I had a business coach at the start of the year, and he said to me, he thinks I should be really open about the price. And that was because he said, all the way through your discovery call, no one's listening because all they're thinking is, well, how much is this? And the more value you add, the more they go, well, this is going to be just too expensive. This is going to be this. They start making their own judgments. So for the last 6 months, probably since, I can't quite tell you exactly when, probably March, February time, or April, I can probably look back. That's when I started to say, so everyone knows the basic price is that. So I'll then say to you, there are a number of different options. It's all custom tailored to your own goal. Packages start from £127.27 for our 28-day shred, which is just 2 shakes a day, breaks down to £4.50 a day. Why don't we arrange to have a chat? When are you free for me to give you a call? So I do now. So this time last year, I was doing 10 to 12 calls a day, and very few were starting. Very few were starting. Now I do, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I didn't do a single call in a whole week. No one started, to be fair, because obviously I didn't do a call, but I didn't do any calls. This week, I've done 3 calls and all 3 have enrolled. So I'm not working as hard. I'm working smarter, but I think some of that is in my posture. If they're not willing to get on a phone call, which some aren't, I say I would prefer to do that, but I'm happy to send you our 3 most popular packages. But I could also, but I would prefer to talk to you so I can recommend what's best for you. And then I'll send them the 3 packages, which is the basic shakes, the 30-day, or the premium. And I've shared that with Sander, the wording of what I use, so that you guys can translate that into your own language. That's for the product. We obviously haven't really got time for the business, but I'm happy to do that at another time if you wanted, of how I go through the business. Again, just a bit of I follow the template. I use the Pivot on Purpose webinar, but you do need to have more exposures for the business. So you need to have an understanding that someone isn't likely to get on a call and join the business on the first conversation. With a customer, they are. And that's one of the reasons I go for the customers, is because that gives me feeds my ego. That gives me an instant hit. I feel good. My energy's up. If I'm doing lots of calls and the business, even though they're great calls, it can be hard, and you've got to have that right mindset when you're going into it. But the process is I use all the tools. The Pivot on Purpose webinar is phenomenal. And I think you have a Dutch and one, the Belgians and Dutch run one, don't they, as well? So again, I would just use that process when I'm doing that. So my first exposure for the business is the Pivot on Purpose call. Then it's a discovery call where I follow the training site that they've got, the template they've got, word for word. I don't even change that because it's so phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, this is a nice bridge, because we have a Pivot on Purpose opportunity call in about 20 minutes for the Dutch and Belgium team. So that's a nice bridge. I saw one last question from Alec from Portugal coming in. He said, who are the people that you call to? So I would like to say to Alec and to the rest of the team 2 things. One is, in the next couple of weeks, we will ask Michelle again if you are okay to do that. So then we do the discovery call, talking to people that are looking to the business opportunity, instead of starting with a startup pack, because that's a slightly different conversation. So that's one part to the question. The other part, Alec, is please go back to the first and the second video training that Michelle did, because that's where she explained how she's attracting people to have a phone call with. So she's not going to a phone book and calling people in the blind, which is called prospecting. That's the hardest thing to do, the lowest ratio. So she's actually attracting people by choosing a target niche, by using social media. People responded it, they like, they comment. That's where she has the hook. She wheels them in. She sets up a discovery call, and that's when she's doing whatever she's done told us tonight. That's how the process is. So if you're looking, who should I call? It's not about who should call. Who are you interacting with on social media? That's in your niche. That's reacting on the post that you're doing on Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, or whatever. And that's where she follows the template. So please go back, Alec, you and your team also in Portugal. I know that you guys are new, but please go back in the Facebook group to the first and the second video training that Michelle shared with us, and it'll give you an answer on your question. Okay for now? Okay, cool. We're going to finish up. Michelle, on behalf of myself and Jessica and the team, we thank you again, for investing some time on your free evening. Really appreciate that. I will get back to you on the WhatsApp in the upcoming days, because we need to set up a training. It will be in a couple of weeks, because we have some Belgian friends in the upcoming weeks. I think next week we have Dominique as a guest trainer. The week after that we have Kelly, and we have some other special guests coming to the show. But we're inviting Michelle at least once more to show us the discovery call on how to talk to business prospects to get into the business and to build the business locally and nationally and internationally. So Michelle, thank you for tonight. Everybody that was here, glad you were on the call. Everybody that watching the recording, really cool. Also share it with your teams, have a look at it a couple of times, and in 20 minutes we start the Pivot on Purpose opportunity call. So everybody, good night. See you later. Michelle, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.